decide to go the big man route, he would be a little bit further down the list.
This is Carl's Painting. House painting Picassos. Paul picks State Farm Small Business Insurance because his local agent is a small business owner too. Hey, Paul, how you doing? We're in this.
Now, there are two other guys in this roster that I did want to talk about because they're both extension eligible. They'll be on expiring contracts next season if an extension isn't reached, and it's Nikola Vucevic and Kobe White. I personally think that neither
the following contest is an Extreme Rules match. It is for the Raw Women.
I just don't think they're going to be getting early extensions.
Hey, Michael.
What are your thoughts on the long-term fit for both these guys? Do you think both will still be in a Bulls uniform by the end of next season?
The Vooch one is really tricky because basically, as part of like the Gobert conversation, if you don't trade for Gobert, then you're losing your starting center in free agency next year unless you extend him.
Right.
And is extending Vooch beyond? I mean, he's older. He's going to be in his age 32 season, I believe. Yeah. So is that more of a risk than going out and getting slightly younger, albeit still 30, Gobert? I'm not sure, but I do think Vooch, if they can't figure out what to do this summer, they will probably extend Vooch and try to get him on a reasonable number, and then look to trade him in the future if they want, unless they go out and get somebody like Hartenstein who they think can take over as the starting center once Vooch expires. They do have a decision to make with him pretty soon, and I think probably the most likely outcome is that they
I'm gonna use
extend
her
him on a reasonable contract that will allow them to trade him in the future should they decide to. I see that one playing out as Lauri Markkanen did, where he plays into his restricted free agency. The Bulls say, go get a contract and we'll negotiate a sign and trade. I do think it is a little concerning to me that he's kind of given up from 18. They've had to show me. Doesn't seem like he has much of a market in the rest of the league right now. So who knows what he would get, and it almost seems at this point like it might just be better off keeping him and if he turns into something than sort of dumping him for the sake of market. They could also package him somebody like Gobert or Ayton or something like that, but my guess is that they keep him around until they can move up on him for something that isn't pennies on the dollar.
I was actually pretty surprised.
Momentum is really on Naomi's side. Naomi's at full throttle.
But like you said, it's kind of clear that maybe there just isn't much.
Here we go, Byron.
Which is a little surprising to me because they can still shoot the ball just inconsistently. But
she's not wasting any time going after an early pinfall.
Are you surprised by that at all? That Kobe White and his trade value just maybe isn't there. And like I said, maybe it makes more sense to just hang on to him the last year, just deal in place in the restricted free agency.
And this might not have a pleasant
and see how he does rather than just
lifts up the shoulder. Early attempts rarely pay off, but they do wear down your opponent.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think, on the one hand,
gotta find a way to get out of this.
The
hit's adding up a little on the champ. Her opponent's making good use of the stipulation. She better watch out. Just carrying the
at the same time, like, all these Bulls fans have been like banging her head saying how bad he is, and then throwing her arms up in the air because
bad predicament right here.
It doesn't really work like that. If you think he sucks and you watch him all day, then chances are other teams are also think he sucks. Now, there are teams out there who have really good ball programs, like the Heat.
Well scattered reversal there.
Or the Pelicans.
Another reversal.
Who really turn out players. And maybe a team like that.
Getting set up for something in the corner.
Into something. But a lot of those teams are competitive and don't necessarily want to take advantage of that right now. So, I think there will probably be some sort of market for him just because of the draft pedigree and just because of some of the numbers that he has been able to put up on bad teams. I mean, he honestly just has been easy to figure out. He hasn't figured out how to functioning.
She stops the cap.
And obviously his defense is really good. So I think he's still
controlled by the opposition here. To me, that has to devise a new plan here.
Who they can really build into a player. And then, of course, as soon as he goes to a team like that and starts playing well,
Everybody's going to be pissed off.
That'll do some serious damage.
They can't win. I wanted to ask this question, and now it's probably more or less.
Man, looks like her opponent's not going to need a chiropractor.
Yesterday of Kyrie Irving. He's going to be opting into his last year with the Nets, which likely means probably not going to be coming to fruition. But I did want to ask. Chances are
taking a chance one more time and landing with incredible impact.
I got a lot of
Understand this? Why in the world do you stop the count there? I've got a feeling she's going to live to regret that. Momentum is really on Naomi's side. Naomi can't be stopped right now.
It could even make sense
To me, that gets out of harm's way. The clothesline.
Forcefully delivered.
Worst case scenario. Yeah, this is a dire situation right now.
He's got 4 years, which means he doesn't really have the leverage.
For some reason, she lets it go.
Send me where I want to go. Sure. So even if he did
She
say,
might have something else planned here.
let's face it, it's probably not
Oh,
really.
look at headset. You still feel the glow.
I think it's a pretty small
The lights are
chance.
on.
The Nets have no reason to say, okay, fine, we'll send him.
Probably throwing your body out of the ring like that is often than not going to provide such a result. That was an example of boldness backfiring.
Today, we're going to make monster collages on iPad using Keynote.
Quicker than Naomi there.
Serena showing how much punishment she can withstand before dishing it back tenfold.
Tamina hoping to start a rush of her own with that attack.
Hey, I'm Andy, and I'm Quentin, and you're watching Creative Brothers. We're here at Apple Community Library in Washington, D.C. It's a place where we're truly
God,
matter.
that's a bad landing. An absolutely foolhardy decision made there.
That can be very costly. Don't know if the risk is worth it.
Momentum is really on Naomi's side. Naomi can't be stopped right now. Side Russian leg sweep. Absolutely no telling what's underneath the ring now.
Instead of taking risks.
This sledgehammer might be what decides this match. This sledgehammer can cause some serious damage. Every successive move is putting an opponent in a dicey situation. And it is getting downright nastier and nastier with each of his attacks. This is getting more and more alarming with each uninterrupted attack.
This is getting scary now. Nobody can survive this much.
This has to be stopped. The cumulative damage here is going to have long-term effects.
You can still get traded.
Back in under the ropes.
And that might
She re-enters the ring now.
very
Scary pattern starting to form as that upper area takes.
Now, we chat over this question. It's regarding trades. It's obviously looking to improve the roster through trades, which we've talked about. And
She releases the hold.
Aside from
That's a little surprising, no?
Ultimately, this offseason to really round out the roster. That's a good one. I haven't thought too much about that.
Check with the pride.
Down there.
Feel it, guys.
There it is. I'm feeling it.
Trouble. In trouble. Tap out. She's got to tap out. She's going to get hurt. Seriously hurt. The jeopardy is real. Tap out.
Kenny Martin, it's a younger forward that doesn't really have a place in their current team. They're kind of buried down the depth chart because those guys are brought in, like here, and maybe Jonathan Isaac comes back, and you've got Ryan Wagner. So maybe there just isn't a ton of room now for a guy like Oklahoma. Same for Houston. They've got
A couple of
East and
knees, and then another one, and that'll force the break.
a handful of their forwards. So a young crowd like that would be cheap and also come in and potentially produce. I think it would
Naomi
be great.
pays back to that.
Naomi managing to find some of that needed breathing room.
Could be the turnaround Naomi needed in this match.
There's literally boring answers.
Back in the ring now.
Trade for like
And the momentum's clearly against Tamina now. But Tamina's just one move from turning this around.
Ready for
There's 20 different options and scenarios that I go through when it comes to trades. Right? I mean, it's an out. And that's just
From the middle rope.
jackpot
Maybe
twice.
they trade Lonzo or Harrison. You got it.
She'll take things into the ring.
I'm just kind of the guy, so there would be.
She's taking things to
the most,
ringside.
I don't want to say realistic because we don't know if that actually happens, but the kind of trade that I can see.
Taking this
So
to the floor.
I do think if the Clippers are going to make trades right now, it would
Coming
be
back in the ring.
either a huge swing or very small ones. But yesterday,
She will wisely respond.
For some
The
reason,
table been set on fire.
Naomi showing her instinct.
Tamina gets caught.
Wouldn't surprise me if there are any trades. Maybe some signing trades that obviously worked that pretty well last summer. So we'll see. But
Whoever's playing here can't be good.
there's a small chance that
And Naomi has taken the upper hand.
Yeah, Naomi's at full throttle.
give some smaller swings on
Face first.
Missing with the reason that I mentioned
Perfectly
that.
placed stop to the
Something
arm.
to remember is that in a trade,
No
both
count
parties
out as she takes this fight to the floor.
understand what the person or their team is. That's what they're
WWE
gonna do.
Universe wants
They're actually
tables.
gonna be the greatest
Well,
interest
they've
in
got tables.
The Bulls, as far as their actual trade chips, there's no time, right? I mean, Patrick Bulls is probably their biggest trade asset when it comes to younger talent that could be intriguing
Into the ring
potential
again.
standpoint. They don't have a ton of draft capital.
Look at head scissors.
And you still feel the glow when the lights are off.
It's lottery protected, which it looks like it's probably going to convey next season based on what we're doing. So I think it's important to remind those fans that there's two
It seems
sides.
like she's looking to take things up a notch or two. Yeah, she's definitely got something big planned with this cable.
Exactly.
Big thinking from Tamina.
Tamina showing how much punishment she can withstand before dishing it out tenfold. Here's the pin to
Quick resiliency from the challenger. What a gutsy performance.
The guy got the better end of the market. And in most trades, that's probably
Tamina up high.
interesting, and that's why
Tamina
you're
about to
guys
flip through the table. Looks like the champ is going to retain.
they could do it for just Kobe and
Barely able to kick out. I thought the champ had it in the bag.
This is how much the championship means. You can see the sweat chip out of the challengers every pull.
The heaviest artillery has been used, but it's not enough for the three.
As I said last
He's got a table and no doubt has some dangerous plans in mind for how to use it.
Across the ring.
Boom, rear view.
Connecting.
The champ off with glazed over.
keep them coming.
one last one.
Leg drop.
Bulls record next season. How many wins do you think they're going to get? Based on what we know right now.
Trapped now and just a sharp elbow.
I honestly think they end up probably around the same number that they are right now. I think
Climbs back into the ring.
maybe one or two better, but at this point, like, you have to factor in this numbers, right? Like, it's just unreasonable to think that Lonzo is
You can almost see the gears turning in their head as they set up the table.
as good as he was last year. I think
It's always going to be as good. Lonzo simply is. I don't doubt it. Maybe Lonzo. We're going to have to
I think the paradigm has shifted. We might need medical personnel here very soon. I agree with you. The referee can only diagnose so much.
But they can still add some pounds.
Sharp elbow. Tamina being controlled by the opposition here. But Tamina's just one move from turning this around. Gotta respect the strategy to work over the arm.
I think the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Golly, that could do permanent damage.
And better playoff outcome than we saw last year.
Damage inflicted.
You know, you have to think that their
Arm
position
breaker.
a little bit more depth outside of the and Caruso if they do healthy.
Oh, that might have just broken something.
And
Connects.
you know, we're never gonna have this.
Prying their opponent's arm. Double stop into the eye. And Naomi has taken the upper hand.
Yeah, Naomi at full throttle.
I think that experience really goes to
Knee drop.
just watching these games. I forget how intense they are, how much attention is taken.
Next snap.
It looks really, really good. And they lost in the second series that they
And the champion finally ready to put this one away.
they've got leverage, the experience, they have
Kick out after one from the challenger.
This match continues on.
Will, I really do appreciate you making the time.
The
You
shot.
see us cheerleading the content you guys are putting out. Following along.
She wants to take this one outside the ring, it seems. Now looking for something to waylay her opponent with.
Looks like she's opting to go with the old classic, a steel chair.
Trying to kiss her. Oh, I like this. She's getting a little creative with her offense. The champion into the cover. And the count stopped short of 2. She is still in this fight.
What about the throw? Splash! The champ has this one here.
What a kick out at 2. Simply refusing to let this opportunity slip away.
And who knows if there'll be another shot, but you can't give up.
You got to give a lot of credit here, withstanding what has taken out many other competitors.
Everyone, thanks for tuning in. It's been a while, actually. I've had a patient for So, a lot to unpack in the world of NBA. Just
Real view by Naomi. The title might change hands.
that are about to be made. Hopefully, starting with the Bulls signing Zach LaVine to a 5-year deal. Because so much happened.
Step with the plot.
The deadline for extending the
There it is. It's locked in. Oh, man, she's the tap out.
Now, depending on player versus team options or set agreements, you got big trades as well, and likely more coming today. It's possible by the time you're watching this that even more transactions have been completed. So suffice it to say, there is a lot to highlight and discuss based on what we know right now, especially and how some of these moves and news relate to the Bulls and how they can position their roster. Yes, so in today's video, I'll be breaking down everything that has happened to date at the time of recording anyway, and how it could potentially impact the Bulls, if at all. So what's going on, everyone? The options to be exercised, as well as qualifying offers to players finishing their rookie skill contracts. And you know it was all going to hit at once within a few hours, so if it felt overwhelming just trying to keep up with everything, well, don't worry, you're not alone, and you've come to the right place because I'm going to consolidate and break down all the moves in hopefully an easy and digestible fashion. And as I mentioned, I'll be tying everything back to the Bulls and how it impacts their offseason moves. Now, first up, I have to start with the Spurs trading DeJounte Murray, because that was probably the biggest piece of news that happened yesterday. I mean, the rumors have been heating up around the Spurs looking to trade Murray. Initially, it was thought that John Collins was going to be included in the package along with picks. Then it shifted to Danilo Gallinari picks, but honestly, I just didn't think the Spurs would actually pull the trigger on trading their best player, who just was selected to his first All-Star team, one of the better two-way players in the league, and still young with upside potential. I believe he's only 25. It's the last guy I would have expected to be on the trading block with the level of young talent that the Spurs have. But at the same time, sure, the Spurs weren't going to be winning anything anytime soon. Why waste Murray's prime and just sell high while his trade value is high? Go into a full rebuild and tank for the #1 pick and get draft capital in the trade, which they most certainly did. 3 first-round picks, 2 of which were unprotected. I cannot believe the Hawks sent them unprotected first-round picks. Like, you never know what happens in the NBA. You could face a major injury or injuries to your best players, finish in the lottery, and somehow win the lottery and get that #1 pick. And now you have to send that over to the Spurs because you had no protections on that pick. That is a huge gamble, especially for a Hawks team that barely squeaked into the playoffs to make all-in type moves and mortgaging their future on DeJounte Murray. But either way, I get it. I can see the argument for both sides and why they did it. As it relates to the Bulls, though, I mean, this isn't as significant for the Bulls as some other moves that were made, but it does call a couple things into question, most notably that John Collins is still likely an option that could be on the move. He's been in trade rumors for some time now, and I think that's even more so the case with the addition of Murray, with now Trae Young and DeJounte being the franchise cornerstone pieces going forward. I actually like John Collins and think he would be a perfect fit for the Bulls with his size, athleticism, and two-way play. My biggest hesitation, though, is his big contract, and of course it conflicts with Patrick Williams' role and would slow down his development. So I think the Bulls pursuing Collins is probably unlikely. Then on the other side, for the Spurs, this could potentially mean Jakob Poeltl is on the trading block since the Spurs are going into a full rebuild. And Poeltl doesn't really fit their timeline. And Pirtle could actually have decent trade value for the Spurs. This is a player the Bulls could certainly use for more depth in the front court. Pirtle is one of the more underrated big men in the league. He's continued to get better in recent years, proving to be a solid rim protector, but also now improving his offensive game. I would love it if the Bulls pick up Pirtle if the price is right. My gut feeling, though, is the Spurs are going to want more than he's worth in it. Trade. In other news, though, and rumors around the Bulls being interested in Mo Bamba have been picking up. And wouldn't you know it, the Magic also did not tender a qualifying offer to Mo Bamba, making him an unrestricted free agent. It's obvious why the Bulls would be interested in Bamba. 23 years old, had his best season last year, averaging 10 and 8 along with 1.7 blocks, and doing so only on 25 minutes per game, and improving his three-point shot substantially, shooting 38% on 4 attempts per game. So not only does he provide protection, but also would help space the floor and provide some shooting, two things the Bulls need. We forget this guy was a top 5 recruit coming out of high school, number 6 pick in the 2018 draft. Actually was drafted right before Wendell Carter Jr. Like, this kid had a lot of potential coming into the league and just hasn't found his stride. Hasn't been the best fit in Orlando. He's also struggled with injuries. So this might be a good change of scene and going to a team that needs a backup 5 that could potentially develop into their starting center once George's contract expires. So I actually would like this move if they can get it for the level exception. Obama was also another one of my free agent targets from that video that I made talking about top free agency targets for the Bulls. I really do think this is a
scenario. 4K, like this
not a game changer for the Bulls.
Like now, oh, grandma at least 10K, my boy. Here we go. No, I'm not paying on nigga 10 and get
which I said in my video on the top 5 free agent targets for the Bulls that I thought was going to decline his player option, just because we all knew he took a steep discount just in Milwaukee after winning a championship there and being a fan favorite, but based off of his level of production this season, well exceeding his pay, you had to think he was going to opt to get a bigger contract. Now, he could still remain with the Bucks, just opting for a longer-term agreement that is more lucrative. The problem, though, is the Bucks don't have a ton of cap space to pay him what he would likely command from other teams. So, in comes the Bulls. Bulls need a backup big 4 or 5, a high-energy, scrappy player who hustles on both ends, and even spread the floor with his shooting. Things didn't end on the best of terms with Bobby in Chicago. He probably doesn't have the best memories here with, punching Mirotic in the face and eventually getting traded after he declined an extension with the Bulls. But hey, it's a new front office. Maybe they can convince Bobby to come and stop hating on Chicago so much. Could the mid-level exception be enough for Bobby, since that's really all the Bulls can offer without a sign-and trade of some kind? Or is Bobby looking for more? I don't know, but something to consider if you're the Bulls. The next piece of news we received, which directly relates to the Bulls, and that's that the Bulls did not tender a qualifying offer to Troy Brown Jr., which, by the way, for those that aren't familiar with what that means, because I keep throwing this term qualifying offer around, well, in short, it means Troy Brown Jr. won't be on the Chicago Bulls next season. After a player's rookie contract expires, teams have the ability to offer them an extension. The year before their contract expires, if they don't reach an extension, teams can extend them a qualifying offer to make them a restricted free agent, meaning they can go out and get an offer sheet from any team in the league, but the current team has the ability to match said offer or just let them walk if the price is too steep. In this case, with Troy Brown Jr., Bulls did not extend him a qualifying offer because if no team actually wanted him, the Bulls would be forced to pay him that 1-year offer. Instead, the Bulls declined, making Troy Brown Jr. an unrestricted free agent. He can now go wherever he wants. This also takes away the ability of any potential sign-and trades for Troy Brown Jr. that the Bulls might have packaged. I mean, in short, I'm not surprised by this decision for the Bulls. Troy Brown Jr. really didn't pan out and fell below expectations after we traded for him with the Washington Wizards. It was probably one of the poorer moves in this new front office, trading Troy Brown Jr. to Alfred, which I know there was more involved in that trade, especially when you factor in that there was a trade that went along with the Celtics. With that, it's definitely one of the more disappointing outcomes, especially for a player I was pretty high on, thinking this past season was going to be a strong one for him, but he underperformed and now he's going to be off the team. A couple more pieces of news. Another player who did not receive a qualifying offer that I think could be an opportunity for the Bulls, and that was the Kings letting Dante DiVincenzo enter unrestricted free agency. He was one of my honorable mentions as far as free agent targets the Bulls should look at. This scoring option you mentioned, he's a decent three-point shooter, and now that he's going to be an unrestricted free agent, Bulls might be able to get him for cheap. So I don't know that there's actually going to be a high market for DiVincenzo. Patty Mills also declined his player option, probably to re-sign with the Nets for a longer term. But could be an interesting option for the Bulls for more scoring off the bench and just having a bit better. The Bulls don't really need any more cards though, so I don't think either of these options actually come to fruition. And then finally, this one is just a rumor, nothing official or anything like that, but evidently the Lakers could be making a run at Kobe White, which, surprise, surprise, the Lakers are interested in consistent, inefficient scoring guard. Who knew, right? I don't know how legit these reports are, but it wouldn't surprise me because the Lakers are interested really in everyone at this point. But hey, if the Lakers are in fact trying to go after Kobe White, I'm down to benefit from their incompetence. Throw in some picks and maybe sign a trade for Malik Monk. I'll take it. I mean, it sounds like based on the fact that Kobe wasn't on draft night, after multiple reports saying the Bulls were shopping him, nothing happened. It tells me that probably there isn't much of a trade market for Kobe, and his trade value isn't very high. So if the Lakers are wanting him, the Bulls might have some leverage to get something decent in return. We'll see if anything actually happens there, though. I'll believe it when I see it. Anyway, these next few hours as we hit free agency are going to be pretty exciting. I'm very curious to see what the Bulls do. I hope they do something because ever since last offseason, they've kind of been quiet in making moves while the rest of the league has been aggressive in making their teams better. But either way, I'll be keeping you guys posted as any breaking news drops. Let me know your thoughts on the moves that have happened thus far. And guys, as always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.
The following contest is scheduled for one.
Gentlemen, Hulkamania
Respect every ingredient individually.
I like to mix it up.
I like it to be just so.
I don't think there's a wrong way to eat up the style bowl.
But there's definitely
Patient for free agency to begin to see what the Bulls front office has up their sleeve. We ended the night, at least at the time of this recording anyway, with Andre Drummond. Yes, Andre Drummond. Like, we haven't even finalized an agreement with Zach LaVine, which I'm not that concerned about, but thought for sure that that would be one of the first free agency signings in the first few minutes. But I don't have any doubts that the Bulls will be able to retain Zach. It's possible by the time you're watching this, he's already signed with the team. But anyway, after a slew of Woj and Shams bombs of all these teams improving their rosters, the Bulls remain pretty quiet. Until now, when we learned that they signed veteran center Andre Drummond to a 2-year, $6.6 million deal with a player option in the second year. Kind of a surprise that they didn't just do a 1-year deal, but who knows, maybe the Bulls realized that the center market was dwindling quickly, and to avoid Drummond going to another team, they had to sweeten the deal with a 2-year option. Now look, I'm going to put out a different video, possibly later this evening or tomorrow, with a bit of a rant on how ridiculous and calculated this was by Jerry Reinsdorf, avoiding paying the full mid-level exception that will avoid them paying the luxury tax, and why I think this decision really squandered away other opportunities. But I'll save that for the next video, so stay tuned for that if you want to hear a rant about the Bulls ownership. But let's talk about the Bulls' acquisition of Andre Drummond, which, again, at the time of this recording, is the only signing this far. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you likely saw my reaction to the signing as pretty underwhelming, which I think really I had that reaction because we already saw all of these other free agents getting picked up by other teams, more specifically guys like Isaiah Hartenstein or Mo Bamba, guys who fit more of the needs that the Bulls have and with upside potential given their age. I'm not saying picking up Drummond on a 2-year, $6.6 million deal is a bad one, but it's not really great either. It's an upgrade from what the Bulls had last year at the backup 5 role, but it's not really moving the needle for them from where they were last season. Some positives about Drummond: he actually was pretty solid last season after getting traded to the Nets, and that Harden deal obviously gives you size, which the Bulls need. He's a great rebounder, even after falling off a bit from his All-Star days. He actually averaged near 10 rebounds per game last season in only 20 minutes, one of the highest rebounding rates in the league, and a solid offensive rebounder, something the Bulls need as well. A decent scorer in the paint, but that's really where his offense is limited to. And it kind of leads me into the negatives. Not a shooter, like at all. Doesn't take jumpers, doesn't shoot threes. Is a horrible free throw shooter, like one of the worst in NBA history, with a career free throw shooting percentage of 47%. The guy is basically going to be unplayable in many situations. And despite his size, he's not really a good rim protector, which is something the boys desperately need. Decent shot blocker, but not the best at rotating on switches and guarding the pick and roll, which the Bulls were one of the worst teams in the league last season in guarding pick and roll. So Drummond addresses the Bulls' need for size, rebounding, more specifically offensive rebounding, to give them more second chance points, which we really didn't see a lot of last year. He doesn't address the need for rim protection.
Just stop it every single part of his body.
Don't let the player action in the second year on the Bulls. Drummond is on 28, which is
Smart strategy, attack the knee. Oh, look at these. Man, that hurts.
This isn't a piece that is moving the Bulls.
Stop in the leg. Heel hook.
Some trades.
Look at this. Oh, that's so painful. Hard to watch, too. And he finds an answer for the Hulkster.
It's been pretty underwhelming.
With the reversal.
That video once the roster is a little more slick, but until then, guys, as always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan.
Ooh, that's going to leave a mark. Razor is in a distressing spot. Some flaws in Ramon's game plan being exposed. Boom! What are we going to see here? Who won the race? Charlie's horse. Hulkster's in trouble. Wait a minute. Maybe not. Well, Hulkster is hulking up. You made a mistake, brother. Hogan, unleashed. There's the big boot. You know what comes next. The leg drop. Hogan's in the driver's seat now. Hulkster's showing that colossal power he possesses.
Talking about how they put sleep, we were counting down the hours to the start time of 6 p.m. Eastern, and of course, once it hit, you had the Woj and the Shams bombs, one after the other, all within a matter of minutes. You saw all of these teams being aggressive and making their teams better.
All the adrenaline in the Hulkster's veins is ready to explode. Hulkster with a body slam. We know what comes next. Leg drop, brother. Gonna see a new champ. Hogan looking to the Astros. Gonna see a new champ.
Because it's been made pretty clear he's going to resign with the Bulls. A little bit like the
Razor is in a distressing spot. Ramon has to pull a trick from his sleeve. Oh my God! And more hits up there can leave you dazed.
This season so far is what is the
Break his arm. Vicious. Taking the opposition. Targeting a spine part, working the arm.
Have to save that for tomorrow, depending on what happens. But what did bother me about what
Working on the arm.
the fact that the Bulls passed up on so many opportunities for that mid-level exception.
Rear chin lock, and now just rapid fire punches. Hogan here asserting dominance. Hulkster's in a position of power here.
$16 million, 2 years, 6
Oh man.
Something was going to easily competed with to make a better offer at the full mid-level exception for a little over $10 million. Go bomb it.
The crimson mask is now being worn by Razor Ramon after that.
Wanted to join the Bulls, but the Bulls weren't willing to.
Definitely not where you want to be right now. Just carried like a rag doll here. Holy, that was an awful landing. Look out, big time risk pays off. The daredevil in you comes out when you take risks like that. Apron senton. Consecutive high-risk maneuvers, and the pace of this match has certainly picked up. Clear the table. They're going to take it to the next level. What is this superstar thinking? They're thinking about the end, finishing this thing off by any means necessary. What is he doing here? Oh no, get down from there. Get down from there. You don't have to do this.
So you probably weren't getting some of these guys anyway, but are you not?
We're officially in a state of chaos now. Monitors are everywhere. Pieces of the announce table in the front row. Razor is in a distressing spot.
Ramon has to pull a trick from his sleeve.
2 years, $18 million, a great shooter, a forward, people with some size. How do you not try and snag him in the middle of exception?
Well, he is clearly looking to destroy his opponent right now.
Heading back to the ring. Wasting absolutely no respect on his opponent. You gotta love it. Into the corner he goes, a perfectly placed target. Hogan winning that exchange.
Instead, the Bulls went ahead and signed Andre Drummond to a 2-year deal worth $6.6 million.
And he saw that coming from Ramon.
So, I won't go too into detail.
Oh,
You can check out my last video if you missed it. But the Bulls chose to part as cheaper deals.
From way up high. Here we go.
So that was the
Another one bites the dust to the chair.
Offseason is number 3. It's constantly, and so this
I agreed, Saxton. Looks like there's no limit to how much damage this superstar can absorb. I've lost count of how many times this match should have ended by now.
He gets what he deserves for all that gloating.
I do think there is a lot of truth to it.
He knew what was coming.
So again, how does this happen? Well, I'll tell you how it happened. It happens when you have
Side headlock applied.
more concerns to avoid luxury tax rather than truly focusing on building a contending team. Because if the Bulls did mid-level exception, they would be just slightly over the luxury tax line, which, although historically speaking, non-stores hardly ever pay into the luxury tax line. They paid it maybe once or twice in the year. 40 years ago.
He doesn't get the three. Good Lord, scarily close to 3.
Confirmed that the Bulls weren't willing to offer the full mid-level exception because they didn't want to pay into the luxury tax. But come on. When it's reported the Bulls weren't willing to pay the exception, now they were looking to offer something like the $7-8 million range, which put them right below the tax line. What other reason would it be? Why would they be so stringent on
This one is headed outside, guys.
for a full mid-level exception? You're talking about less than 2% of your total payroll at that point for an additional $2 million.
He puts him on the table. We know this will not end well.
It's so negligible in the grand scheme of the team's overall payroll.
Call an ambulance. Call a doctor. Call a carpenter. We have human beings using their bodies to explode tables.
Large contracts to build out this team this past season. Never mind that they're looking at a timeline that has been fast-tracked to win now. Nah, saving some bucks to avoid the luxury tax is more important. What the hell is wrong with you? And no, not he watches the channel anyway. You are a multi-billionaire and own a franchise that brings in hundreds of $1 million in revenue a year off of players in the world. And you're worried about paying the luxury tax? Are you kidding me? How do you expect to be a successful team? Consistently good team.
Gotta wonder what his strategy is here, Cole.
In this business where you're constantly penny pinching and not taking on any risks with your
Where you throw
investments.
a
And I know some of
little
us
bit carrot seeds.
build the greatest finest team ever assembled. They got
And Hogan's finding the momentum in this one.
The Hulkamaniacs are propelling the Hulkster forward.
Taking flight.
Takes another trip to the skies, and it pins on a fool. He had him dead to rights.
Just amazing athleticism being shown here.
We are seeing a ridiculous amount of risky moves. We'll see if it pays off.
Hulkster with a body slam. We know what comes next.
The title might change hands.
So we looked into it. His fans
Here
were not
comes Hogan. We should have a new champion.
Michael Reinsdorf was interviewed on Casey Johnson, the Bulls Talk podcast a few months back.
And you can see the anguish coming through. Usually the adrenaline of competing must tough. You really love it. The team must be really manifesting itself. Razor is in a
I'm sorry for using the language. We're not the okay.
A global brand, and you know the checks are going to keep coming. The Bulls are good at that.
about this fan base nor the Bulls community. You're more focused on the bottom line. You're focused on yourselves, and that's pretty much it. And look, let's be honest. It's not just a bad look to the fans, because we've known this for some time now. It's also a bad look to players around the league, because the perception of the Chicago Bulls was starting to shift. Once the new front office came in, they actually started making aggressive moves to get this team to start winning now, to build around Zach LaVine, trading for Vucevic, getting Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso. You were changing this negative perception around the league that the Bulls and at the top management level were incompetent, cheap, and toxic. You now saw smart moves being made, winning type moves. And while Garpax were running things, you always kind of knew ownership was truly running the operation and Garpax were moving puppets. But it appeared as if this new Bulls front office, they were actually letting them run the team, giving them full autonomy to do what they want. And while part of that is true, there's no doubt in my mind that these shenanigans of being calculated and not going into the luxury tax, this was 100% directed by Jerry Reinsdorf to the front office to not exceed the tax level. There's no question. This was not something that Arturas and Mark Eversley did on their own. These are not the type of guys to be stingy in trying to save money for the Reinsdorfs if it wasn't directed by Jerry himself. The ownership should really be ashamed of themselves for being this stingy for a team that's worth billions of dollars. Bulls fans deserve better than this. The city of Chicago deserves better than this. And I just